So I said that today we're going to be doing a practical. And I'd asked you to collect the following things this week. If you haven't and you forgot, don't worry, you've got time to go do it now. You're going to need something to make a ramp. That could be a piece of wood, it could be a hardback book. It'll have to be something hard because otherwise it's not going to stay upright. Doesn't matter length, just whatever you can find. We're going to be changing the height of the ramp, so you're going to need something to stack under one end. So books are a good idea, or like cushions, just something that you can put underneath one end of the ramp. Something to roll down the ramp, so like a ball, a toy car. If you haven't got them, just a pencil will do, or a pen. You're going to need to record time, so you need a watch or a phone clock. To be honest, the clock would be like the stopwatch on it would be better because I think it's just easier to read than like the second hand on your watch, but either's fine. And finally, something to measure length, so a ruler or a tape measure. Okay, so if you haven't got that stuff, you can go grab it all in a bit. Maybe if you've not got the stuff with you, just take a quick screenshot. That would be perfect, Thomas. Yep. Oh, sorry, I don't know. Siri did that thing where he starts copying me and then repeating it back. Yeah, just take a quick screenshot if you need to go and get that stuff in a moment. Okay then, if you haven't finished drawing the table, don't worry, it's going to stay on the board. Okay, let's have a chat through the method. So don't go running off just yet. This picture here is quite, you know, it's quite a long ramp, and you know, maybe like we saw Thomas's ramp's going to be quite short. I think most of us, our ramps are going to be quite short just because of, you know, what we've got around the house. And maybe it's not going to be the perfect practical, like when I did this with the other Year 9 class on Wednesday. Some of them were saying, oh no, the ball just keeps rolling off the side of the ramp. It's not going to be perfect. We're using just stuff we find around the house, but we're really focusing on developing our experimental skills. And so don't worry if it's not perfect. Okay, firstly, measure the length of your ramp and note it down. Then we're going to be increasing the height of the ramp. So here they've got some sort of frame, but you can just use books. You don't need to make it as steep as this. You might just do like 5, 10, 15 centimeters. So firstly, have it at your lowest ramp and measure the height of the ramp. Then put your ball, toy, whatever, at the top of the ramp. Get your timer ready and reach the end. Filling in your results table as you go. So let's say I've put some books underneath my ramp and it's currently a height of 5 centimeters. Then I time it and it takes 3 seconds to get down the ramp. However, I'm going to do that again and again. I'm going to repeat the experiment. Why is it important that we repeat the experiment? To get an average. Well done, Simon. Any other reasons? Reliable, fantastic word, Thomas. Yes, it increases the reliability of our results. Yes, and because let's say if the second and third time you get 5 seconds and 5 seconds, that might suggest that something's not quite right about this first value. It could be an anomalous result. We'll talk more about that in a bit, but put the ball down the ramp 3 times. We've done that. Increase the height of your ramp and go again. Well, that's the thing, Thomas, it is going to be tricky, and that's something we'll think about in our evaluation because it's going to be hard. What I'd recommend, maybe phone timer, ball at the top of the ramp, then press them both at the same time. But yeah, it's not going to be overly accurate. We'll think about ways we could improve it afterwards. Okay, so down the ramp, repeat that 3 times. Once I've recorded 3 results in the table, I'm now going to increase the height of my ramp and do exactly the same, but filling in that one, then increase the ramp again and fill in the third one. You might not have time to do 3 ramp heights. Just do as much as you can in the time. Okay. Once you have got results, you could then work out the average time taken. So the mean, divide by 3 to get an average. Now, a few more points before you get going. Don't include anomalous results when calculating the mean. So if you see in your table, that value doesn't look quite right, it could be anomalous. Like when I had 3, 5, and 5, the 3 didn't really seem to fit, did it? So I'll ignore that and just do my mean from the other 2 values. If you're unsure about that, just leave it and we can do it together afterwards. Some of you might feel confident enough and have the time to work the average speed based on distance and time. So if you think you can do that, give it a go, but don't worry if not, we are going to do it together at the end as well. I'd just like everyone to at least be able to fill in these parts. Even if you only get to do 1 set, it's fine. You might not have time to do 3 heights. Just do what you can. If you're super speedy, there is an extension as well to think about the variables. So there's plenty to be getting on with, plenty of challenges for those that need it. Any questions before we begin? I'm sorry, Thomas, I've just seen. So yeah, the point at which it crosses the bottom of the ramp, stop your timer. Yeah, and I think we might have a bit of trouble with this. You know, if your ramp's not perfectly straight and it's going to go off to the side, we might, it might be tricky. The other class found that out. But like I said, it's not going to be perfect. The point is we're developing our scientific skills and we'll have lots to talk about in the evaluation afterwards. I'm going to leave you to it then. I'll check in 5 minutes to see how we're doing. Let's have a look at some data then. So if you didn't manage to get lots of data or it all went wrong, my other class said the ball kept falling off the side, not got any data. You could just use mine if you want. This is made up. And it could be, that's fine. Some of you might have already worked out your average time. But if not, we can just do it now. That's no problem. Now, I said we don't include anomalous results when we're calculating the mean. So here, this value is anomalous. We've got 3.5 for the first time and the second time, then third time it took 1 second. That doesn't seem right, does it? It's an anomalous result. So when I'm working out the mean, we know we do the 3 values added together divided by 3 because we've got 3 values. So if I was to do that for my data, I'd get this, but notice how for the 10 centimeter ramp, I haven't included my anomalous result. So just check in your data as well, if you've already done the mean, or if you're about to do it now. If you've got any anomalies, don't include them. So speed is distance divided by time. My ramp, I've just pretended, I've said it's 20 centimeters. then divide it by the average time. So for my first one, I'd be doing 20 divided by 4.16. Then 20 divided by 3.5. 20 divided by 2.16. So if you want to do that for your data as well, or just use mine if you haven't managed to collect data. Let's see your car, Thomas. Ah, very nice. So once you've got a completed table, if you want me to check any of your values, then just write to me and I can check. Once you've done that, to finish, we do write a conclusion, which is just going to be a sentence or two to say, my results show, and then an evaluation. So in your evaluation, think to yourself, did I carry out a fair test? What did you do to make it a fair test? If you were to do this again, how could you improve it? What would you do differently? Now I'm going to give you a few minutes. By that time, we should all have done the average time. We should all have done average speed. And then most of us should have also been able to do a conclusion and an evaluation as well.